Good morning, Floss too. My name is Laura, and this is Stitching by the Shore, my channel about cross stitch. Every once in a while, we do something else crafty, but today we're talking cross stitch. If you are new, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and coming and checking me out. I hope you like what you see. You'll hit subscribe and come back. Feel free to leave comments. I love chatting with you guys. And I'm happy to take the conversation after the video and chat and talk. So please feel free. And if you're a returning viewer, visitor, thank you so much. If you subscribe, special thank you. And I'm so glad to see you back. You know I've been doing more of my life stuff at the end of the videos, so I am going to keep it that way today as well and jump right into cross stitch. Now I say this for the last few weeks. Through Mania, because I only had those big projects, I said, oh, my videos are going to be short, they're not going to be very long, and then I seem to ramble incessantly. For me, a long video is what, 35 minutes? And I seem to the last couple of weeks have talked a lot about apparently not much. So I say I think this video will be short, but I have no idea what may happen as we get going. So we'll see. It's completely unknown right now if this will be short or long. Anyway, so what I did with my Mania starts, and now that are whips, I had the four big ones. And so what I've chosen for the month of June is to split them into pairs. So 2 of them I will work on the 1st and 3rd weeks of the month, and then the other 2 I will work on the 2nd and 4th weeks of the month. And that way they're each getting a little bit of work. But then I can also add some new starts, smaller starts in some cases, because these are not seeing finishes, one of which probably for at least a year. They're not seeing finishes anytime soon. And I wanted to continue with some of my smaller pieces. And man, I will have a stash of things to finish when I choose to go out into the world and buy finishing stuff. Right now, I'm just piling it all up and figuring out what I want to do, and at some point I will just have a finishing frenzy. There's a video for that, I think, right? A video of finishes. That would be my goal one day. But of the 2 whips that I chose this week to work on, I took my most favorite and my least favorite. Now I like all of them, but obviously there's a least favorite when you're doing something in a group. And so I worked on Hello Pumpkin, no surprise if you've been watching through May, and Kringles, probably no surprise if you've been watching through May. And figured that way. The other 2, just, I like them. I like them all, but the other 2 are right in the middle. I enjoy working on them, and those 2 will be next week's whips that I'll work on. So let's start with Kringles. This is from Little House Needleworks. I want to make sure it wasn't Country Cottage. Little House Needleworks, kind of the old-fashioned department store, set for Christmas. I am doing this on 18 count. Oh, and that reminds me, for anybody new, everything you see will be 18 count. The new fabrics, the fabrics I'm working on right now, I am still firmly in the 18 count category. So I won't continue, I don't think, to say it. Sometimes I say it without realizing it. But if I forget to, just know it's 18 count. And I will put that in the description below, the color, and I think I do put 18 count, and where I got the fabric from, especially if it's a hand-dyed fabric. So this is on Artemis from BeStitchMe. I worked on it. I swear I worked on it, but it doesn't look like I did much. So you know that my goal when I was working on it over Mania, originally I was like, okay, I'm going to finish rooms and feel accomplished, and these rooms are fiddly. And so I did work on some, and there is some, you're not going to be able to see it. You can see it in person, but there is some ecru. So this top part is pretty much done. There is one specialty thread that I don't think I'm using, but I don't know what I'm going to use instead. So that would go some in places up here. So that may be kind of a after the fact go through and fill that part in, unless I figure it out ahead of time. I don't know. If you're not using the specialty thread and you are stitching Kringles, let me know what you're using, because I'd love to know. So instead, I did some of the room, and then I said, you know what? I needed to do bricks. I needed something that was a little bit mindless, I guess, for want of a better word. So I've worked on bricks, and then I felt inspired to kind of work a way across on the roof. So originally I thought I was just going to work my way all the way down and over, but I may not. I might work on the roof and then just work myself diagonally down potentially. I don't know yet. But that's where Kringles is. I have firmly resolved, no, that's not the right word, resigned myself to the fact that this will not be done this Christmas. The goal would be next Christmas, maybe. We'll see. And then I may wait to this, I don't know if I would frame this or not, but I definitely may wait to finish some things until I know the wall colors of the house that we'll be moving into down the road. We haven't picked wall colors yet, and so I have an idea, but I definitely want to know what the color palette is before I finish too many of these things, and then they don't really go at all. So that was the first whip for last week. And then the second one, let me get my iPad because I do not have a printed copy of the pattern. So it's Hello Pumpkin. Ooh, and it's not bright here at all. I don't know. Oh, there we go. From Caterpillar Cross Stitch. That is the pattern. And my goal, I think I'm pretty much done. If you look at the fox bottom, fox butt across, I think I'm for the most part finished there. And I did start the owl, but I think he gets fiddly a little bit with his wing. So I was doing other stuff instead. This is done on Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie, which I love, love, love every time I see it. So that's where I am. We are definitely now on the bottom side of the tree, the round part of the tree. I've got some owl eyes and I'm still working on all the little variations of leaves, and I think I have a couple mushroom in the tree and then a mushroom at the base. And the base of the tree, hopefully that will go pretty quick. There's some pumpkins like this guy down there, which this took me a while, but it wasn't, nothing will be as fiddly as Mr. Hedgehog. So once I finished him, I knew I was in the clear. So this is, I love, from a distance how this looks. It looks like the sky is behind the tree, and I still love, love, love stitching on this. So this will be put aside for the week now, and I will work on the next pieces. But I could see, well, I don't know if July I just do Christmassy stuff. It may not. But I could see by the end of the summer, in time for autumn, to have this piece finished. And I think maybe that'll be my goal, is in time for autumn. So that gives me options for a while. I don't, we're only in June. We're only the beginning of June. So I have some time. Those are my 2 whips. And then I had 2 starts this week. I wanted to just start something new. And one of which, actually neither one of them are big, but one is tiny. So that one obviously will be a quicker piece. It's Cottage Needleworks, the September Cottage. So if you are new, I am making these all 12. I'm making them for my mom, and then I'm going to put them, I think, in a wreath. Unless I find something else finishing that I prefer. I want to do something where she can leave out and then she can just switch them out each month. Yesterday was my mom's birthday, so I spent any stitching time yesterday, I did spend stitching on this. I unfortunately did not get to see my mom yesterday. I did talk to her. We have not seen her since all of this started. We've talked a lot with her and the kids FaceTime her, but I think this weekend we are going to try to do a little socially distant party outside by her apartment complex. There's lots of benches, and we'll bring some chairs and maybe a little cake and get a chance to see her for the first time in several months and just stay safe. I'm trying to keep her safe. So that is the design, the chart. And then I got a lot done on this. This one is one of the faster. I find this one of the fastest of the month so far. This is done as they all are. And I did that purposely. No matter what the colors were, I wanted them all done on the same fabric. So this way, whatever I finish it on, she can just switch out easily. It's the back side, the non-modeled side of Vintage Country Mocha. So it's more of a beigey as opposed to Mocha has, you know, the shades of brown in there, almost like it's coffee tea dyed. But this is just more of a beigey. And so far everything the colors have shown up fine on it. But that's what I have. So I definitely made a good jump. I did change something. So this, I had just gotten this chart recently and I have not been to any craft stores. And I didn't get an order for Fire Poppies out for DMC. So this was a, let's see what I have in my stash the day I start it type of thing. And because I have a lot of country cottage needleworks, especially these cottages, I feel like many of the colors are repeats. So actually ironically, I had everything in the end. I had to, except for the green. So the green, which is in the words and then all the leaves and things like that, is $5.81. And so first I looked in all of my, my regular DMC. And then a lot of times, whether I have kitted up projects or sometimes if I'm buying DMC, I want to make it worth it. So I'll go through some of my charts that I know I'm going to be stitching soon and just get the DMCs so that when the time comes, that's one less thing I have to worry about. And so I went through all of those DMC filled. And the very last, and I know the saying is it's in the last place you look because you stop looking, but this was literally the last place I could look. The very last chart that I looked at had 581. So I pulled it out and then I was like, I don't like it. I don't like the green. It's actually in my Tiny Modernist Halloween calendar. It's a bright green, a brighter green. And I really wasn't loving it. So I went back to my original stash of DMC and I had both 580 and 582. I just didn't have the 581, which I probably would have just used one of those if I didn't have it. Well, in the end, I said I like those better than the 581. So I did change the 581 to 580. It's a little bit less bright, neon-ish, and I think it looks great. I have a little bit left. I tried to do the tree, finish the leaves on the tree last night, but I was tired. And so I put it aside. And then the house, that'll be, so finishing the tree and the house will definitely be my goal. I will work on this every week. I want to keep on top of, right now I have July and August done. And I want to keep on top of the months so I don't fall behind. And she won't get them all 12 together, but I figure I have at least until July. I'll tell her I have the gift, but I just don't have it ready yet. And it gives me time to wait until I go out for finishing. And I don't know what I'm doing yet with these, so I have to figure that out. And so I do want to keep going on these. Maybe if I do Christmas in July, I'll work on the December house. I think I do have that one, and skip October, November until later on, as long as I can keep them going. So that was my first new start. My second new start, you guys weighed in fantastic. It's Long May She Wave by Stitching with the Housewives. I asked you about the black fabric that had a little bit of, really wasn't chalkboard. I wouldn't call it chalkboard where it had more of the grays, but it had a little bit of that in there, or the navy. Overwhelmingly, most of you said navy. And I'll be honest, I was leaning towards navy. So that is the one I started with and I did it with. And I really am liking it. So this is what I have so far. I have to say, I started with the white of the pole and it popped against this navy. It looked so good. Part of me was like, I'm just gonna stitch it in the one color, but obviously that wouldn't work. It wouldn't look good. Just outline everything maybe. But all the colors are showing up and they're looking nice on this navy. Let's see. It's so funny. Let me fold it this way. I haven't cut this fabric for some reason. There you go. It is rainy and dreary today, but for some reason we're getting blown out color-wise if I go too close. So that is what we have. Now I do have a few changes, not in colors, but in the pattern. What was funny, these leaves, these flowers here are in 3777 for DMC. And when you look at it pulled, it's a reddish brown, rust almost, I guess. And I wasn't sure, but I tried putting it on the fabric and I loved it. It looked great. So I kept it. But what I did change, sorry for all of you who love chickens, but chickens are just not in my decor style. So they're adorable, especially their little checked tails or whatever you would call them on chickens. But I will not do this chicken. I don't know if I'll do anything there. Instead of this chicken, I added a flower instead. Let me fold this. So I repeated this flower. I repeated down here. Wow, everything is turning yellow if I go too close. So that was easy enough. I just did the same colors. I counted where I wanted it. It worked out fine with the leaf part of it. And then there's supposed to be a chicken, you know, the chicken tail goes here and then the chicken stands on the flower. Well, I didn't bring it up too much, but I did by a couple of stitches make this flower taller because otherwise there was going to be a big break there where the chicken would be. So it wasn't much, maybe 3 or 4 squares at most. Which then I brought the leaves up a square just so that there wasn't that much stem there. But I think it came out great. You'll never know that there's anything missing there. And unless you know the pattern, I don't think you'd know that there were chickens supposed to be there. So that is Long May She Wave. So thank you so much for everybody who weighed in. I really appreciated all of your opinions and comments. And I threw the floss on both and this just kept calling to me. So I said, you know what? I am going to listen. And I am going to work on this. So that is where I am with that. These 2 whips will probably, or new starts, will now become whips. And I will work on them while I'm working on my big pieces through the week. And then, you know, every once in a while, I may be called to a new start. We'll see. You know, I can't seem to go more than a week or 2, especially with littles, not starting another little piece. So, but that's at least the plan for the week is my Christmas list, Halloween cat, and my 2 new starts carried over as whips. And you'll just have to tune in next week to see if I throw anything else into the mix. And that was it for my stitching. I did do some shopping. I finally got the fabrics that I was waiting for from Stephanie. So I will show you those as well as some patterns. But I did also buy a couple of digital patterns. I have been looking at the patterns from Bendy Stitchy Designs, Michelle Garrett, for a while. I just, you know, you put them on your wish list in Etsy and then they sit there, and every once in a while when I place orders, I'll say, oh, let's buy this one today or let's buy that one. So I had not bought these yet. But Michelle, for the first week of June, from June 1st to June 7th, is donating her entire Etsy check of anything that she sells on her Etsy store to Campaign Zero, which is working diligently for, I'm not even going to be eloquent enough to explain their efforts, but to try to make the world a better place for everybody and equality and less police brutality and so on and so forth. Please, I recommend you check them out and see what they're all about. But I decided I wanted to support that. And hey, I wanted to buy these anyway, so it's a perfect time to just do a little something extra over and above what I may already be doing. And the first one is Moral Compass. And I was gonna print these, and we just changed over our internet provider, and for faster Wi-Fi speed, cheaper, no less. And we're fine. My husband was able to figure out how to set all that up, and the Wi-Fi works, but our printer works by Wi-Fi, and we can't for the life of us figure out how to let the computer talk to the printer in order to print. So my brother is a tech genius. I think we're going to try to make a Zoom call with him this weekend and have a little service call, we like to say, when we need computer help. So he's the computer guru in the family. So these would have been printed. I apologize. The glare, apparently, it's not a sunny day, but apparently it's bright enough that things are going to glare. So I will do my best. But this one's called Moral Compass, with the 2 arrows, easy and right. Soon we must choose. I've liked that anyway, and then it just seemed extra appropriate this week. And the other one, I love this one. It's called Trimming the Tree, with the little snowman, and the tree is about to fall over on him. Love, love, love that. So check it out. She is going through the 7th with her donations of any sales. And so today is what, the 5th? We have 5th, 6th, 7th. We have 3 days left until that. And she's got some cute charts and patterns. So if you were thinking of buying from her, it's a great time. And you get to do a little bit of extra support while we're at it. Those are the digital patterns. I have some physical patterns. I got the Prairie Schooler 2020 Santa with the little rabbits. Love them. Pay attention to later on in the video because you may see this pattern again. So I picked that up. Silver Creek Samplers, Izzy DeCane. I love that. And I think I am so excited to try to find a vibrant fabric to stitch that on. I definitely do a floss toss. And it looks adorable the way it is, but I think I would do a little bit more Halloween-y fabric. Silver Creek Samplers again, and this one is, it doesn't say an actual title. It's Coastal Cola, Sip and See. This one purely because we'll have a coastal house, so I needed to pick that one up. And I have some ideas from fabric. I'll show you afterwards. And then the last one, Janet, are you watching today? You showed this, and ironically, this was on its way to me at the same time, weather-wise, from Prairie Schooler. I love these. I love the big ones. I love the little ones with the lighthouse and boat. So I am definitely, I don't even know, they may all get stitched. And again, I have ideas for fabric, especially the Red Sky at Night one. I might have to talk to Brandy at BeStitchMe because I don't know if she has what I'm looking at, but she's fantastic about making things if you have a vision and giving it a try. So I have ideas on that one that I think would look good. So those are the charts. Not a lot, a few. I'm excited on starting all of them. Then I have some fabric. The first 2 are from BeStitchMe, which I will link both Brandy and Stephanie down below as their sites for fabric. Now Brandy has a website page which you can just order, and she also has a Facebook page, and she does weekend fabric fights, whatever they want to be called. This one happens to be called Friday Night Fight Night. So there is Friday night tonight, a fight night, which I'm hoping to stay awake long enough. It's 10 o'clock my time, which should be fine, but there are some nights that I am just exhausted. So I'm hoping to stay up and see if I can catch anything new. But these 2 were from a fight night a few weeks ago. This one is called Through the Stones, and it's a lovely grayish green. I don't even know how to explain it exactly, but it looks so pretty. And I'm really excited to find some patterns to work on that. And then this other one, I think you know by now, my love of purple. This is called Dusk. And I have no idea what I'll stitch on this, but I just thought it looked pretty. And I'm sure I will find some things on that. So those were the 2 that I ordered. or one on Friday Night Fight Night, and then ordered, obviously. Then the others are from Stephanie. So Fabric by Stephanie. I don't remember the exact URL. Every time I Google Fabrics by Stephanie, it's something else is what the URL is. It just pops up by now on my computer because I go there so often, and I'll link it. Every time I get an order, I immediately want to order more. And this time is no different because I have colors of hers that I've had that I love, like the Nantucket Sky, which I want more of because I want to do everything outside in Nantucket Sky. And then I get some new ones and I love them too. So this one, if I had not found that other fabric for my Christmas list, I think I had ordered this one originally as a possibility. This one's called Friendship Green. It's a sage green. It's not quite, it's showing up a little lighter than it is in person. It's a lovely, lovely green, so pretty, and I could see lots of Christmas on it. What do you think? You guys are great with it. What do you think if I put Santa on it? I think that would look great because none of the colors none of the greens, they're all darker greens. I guess I would only check to make sure they use DMC white. I would just make sure that that would show up enough on here. And if it does, I think I might do Santa on this. We'll see. But that was the first thing when I saw it. I said, ooh, that might be nice for that. Next, this one I had in mind, if I couldn't find fabric, and I'll find other things to do on these. If I couldn't find fabric for Halloween cat, this was one of the ones that I had thought about, and I think it would look really good on this. This is called Midnight Tryst, and it is a lovely, lovely, it's like a denim blue. It's a lovely, lovely blue. I don't know if it's showing a little purple on the screen, but it's not. It is definitely a denim, and I think Halloween cat would look fabulous on this. I haven't done a floss toss. As I'm doing them, I'm looking at my patterns, saying, ooh, what might work good on that? I think that would be, for coastal coal, I think that would be too much blue, but I will find many things to do with this, so I'm not worried about that. Now this one is really cool, and you don't notice it until you open it up. This one is called Caramel Macchiato, again from Stephanie. Now you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, it's kind of a beigey brown. Not a beigey, like a beigey. Almost like. But then when I opened it more, it's almost beachy to me. So what do you think? And I'll have to pull the colors because I'm not sure about the beiges. I thought about doing Coastal Cola on this. Or if not on that, going crazy and doing it on this, which is an older dyed fabric that I already had. I think this one is from Hand Dyed Happiness. I thought that might be fun, and that was my original thought, but I love, love, love this. And so if this doesn't get done on it, I could see so many beachy things looking fantastic on this. I'm loving that. And the last of the four, this one's cool too. This one is called Frozen Fractals, and I don't know if it's gonna pick up. So its base is a blue. At heart, it's a blue. But there are purples and greens and all sorts of fabulous colors on this. This would look great with a Christmas item, I think. Christmas list would have looked fantastic on this as well, in my opinion. And I think I'm just love it. And I love how there's just a little tint of a few other colors in there, adding a little bit of variety. So while it doesn't have a plan, I could see myself going to this and pulling it. What I'm finding with some of these colors that I want to automatically buy more of, even though I haven't started using them yet, is that they are colors that I'm drawn to that I could see just grabbing all the time for a lot of these patterns. So that I'm adding a little bit of color, at times not crazy amounts, but some background color to add a little interest. So those are the fabrics that I got. I haven't figured out what I want to get from Stephanie next, or if I want to get some more repeats, but I immediately want to just order from her again. She is running about, I don't know, 5-6 weeks. So if you had a plan for Jolly July, I would order right away and you might not get it till the end if you're doing a Christmas in July. If you're not, then it really doesn't matter, especially if you already have everything planned for July. It would just be a pleasant surprise moving on past that month. And she's been very open about her supplies and how long things are taking, and so on and so forth. So if you, it's worth both her and Brandy. Brandy's running 2 to 4 weeks, and my last order took about 4 weeks. They're both worth it. Both of these companies are worth the wait. So if you have the ability and don't need it immediately, I would recommend both of these companies in a heartbeat. And look at that, I'm already at 30 minutes, and here I said I was gonna have a short video. Well, I'm almost done here. So that's all I bought. That's it, all done. But I do have, I told you to keep watch because Prairie Schooler might show up again. I have an extra Prairie Schooler, Santa 2020, which I'd like to give away. And so I'd like to know, what are you planning a Christmas in July stitching, I don't want to say event, but do you have a plan? Is there a Christmas plan for you for July? And what is it? Because I was not around the stitching community last July. I don't know. I know some people do ornaments. I know some people may focus on a big piece. I definitely know that Christmas list will be a focus for me in July, but I want to do a bunch of smalls too. I don't have ornaments for my tree, and so I'd like to start stitching some things like that as well. So tell me what your plan is, and I will enter you into the giveaway for Santa with the bunnies. And as usual, please be 18. I will send anywhere. I'm just waiting for the mail to get a little bit better internationally so that you actually do get your piece, but I will send anywhere. Don't say giveaway, don't say free. And I would love it if you're a subscriber. People say you must be a subscriber. I don't know how you can check that, because if you're private in your subscriptions, they don't know you're a subscriber. But it would be lovely if you are a subscriber. I would appreciate it. And that is the giveaway. Other than that, life-wise, my son finished school yesterday. They have waived final exams, so he will not have any final exams. You did have the option of extra assignments if you wanted to get your grade up a little bit. That would be due next week. Apparently some teachers have stuff they've assigned through next week that's regular. So I guess he's done with classes, but he's not actually done with homework. He's done great, so we're gonna try to keep him from slacking this last week because his semester grades are fantastic. He should be super proud during this difficult situation, how he kept up, especially a kid with focus issues. Learning from home is difficult if you have focus issues and have to do it all and be all at home all the time. So I'm really proud of what he's done this semester, and I want him just to finish strong. Other than that, this week's been difficult. It's been unsettling. I am not an eloquent speaker. So many people have said so many things, and I'm listening. I'm doing just much more listening. I'm speaking with my family. If any of you ever feel the need to talk, I'm open for that. But I'm just listening. I'm listening to the voices that need to be heard and not the ones that don't. Certain people need to be heard right now, and I'm listening to those and working on that. And I will continue to do that. I'm just working towards what I need to do to be a better person. And that's it. I hope you are well. I hope you are staying safe and taking care of yourself. And my stitchy friends, I love you all, and thank you so much for joining me yet another week. And until next time, happy stitching.